Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. I am happy to have you here with me today. We're heading down to the garden. I have just kind of been feeling a little bit blah today. I'm not entirely sure why. Nothing really happened. I just kind of woke up feeling that way and the day just continued not being awesome. So I have decided that I'm going to go out to the garden and just hang out and see what happens. I know I definitely have a little bit of harvesting to do because I haven't actually been out to the garden in the last 2 days. It's just been so incredibly busy, which could be partly why I'm feeling a little bit blah, because the garden really does pick up my spirits. Oh, good news. Dan did get the baler fixed. I don't know if I told you that in the last video. And he got the hay baled and off the field. And if you can look way down over there, you can see my cows are out on the field now, which is fantastic. Makes me very happy. Certainly makes the cows very happy. You know what? For the sake of getting ahead of the need, I am going to go find my wagon or my wheelbarrow. Either will work, just in case we end up harvesting more than my harvesting bag will carry. We had the most awesome storm last night, came through and probably rained hard for at least an hour, and everything got a thorough soak, and I'm grateful because it's remained kind of overcast today, which means that all of that moisture hasn't just evaporated out of the ground. Lord knows we needed the rain, and my garden, I'm sure, is very happy for it. He's such a funny boy. How are you doing? Are you good? I completely forgot when we were at Princess Auto to get another wagon. I used the one that I have here for milking, but I really need one that I can just keep down in the garden. I am so happy with the way that the crop garden is looking. I don't know if you can tell, but the potatoes just sprang up overnight with all that rain. I have been keeping a sprinkler on the potato patch quite a bit this summer, but I guess I haven't been giving them quite enough moisture because they certainly look happier now. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is the pumpkin plant. Remember I planted a little pumpkin plant in the plastic? You can see I have plastic over there because I wanted to have it cover up the plastic just because I don't like the way that looks. And look at how huge it is. So here's one plant right here and a second plant over here. And we have a pumpkin growing in there. That's awesome. Next year, if I decide to keep plastic along this edge of the garden to keep the grass from going into the garden, I planted another squash down over right here, but I have all this space down here where I didn't put any, and I think I'll definitely put some in every 10 feet or so all the way down the plastic, and then I won't have to see that. I'll just get to see all this gorgeous green. I feel like the garden just exploded overnight. Oh my goodness, look at these zucchinis. These plants are massive, and there's so many zucchinis in here. Definitely going to have to be harvesting some. This is something I have never seen before. The zucchinis developed just fine, and then on the end here, they stopped developing and are actually starting to rot. That's okay, I can still cut this chunk off, but has anybody ever seen that before? And if so, do you know the cause? Look at this beautiful sunflower. So it's like a bush. There's just one sunflower plant here. I have never seen a sunflower like this before. I've certainly never planted one. And so I think this must be a hybrid, and it's happening all over my garden where they're kind of bushy and branchy like this. This one right here is probably my favorite sunflower this year, and it grew up right beside this wheelbarrow that I planted, and it just looks so beautiful. But look at the size of these gorgeous leaves. They're huge, and there's multiple flowers growing on this all over the place. This one is probably, I don't know, close to 10 feet tall. So beautiful. Isn't this a cheerful sunflower? And almost every flower has a bumblebee working busily away. Okay, let's see if there's any more zucchinis over here. Oh my, that one is getting pretty big. So we are actually going away for the next couple of days. So definitely want to get all of these picked now. The nice thing about zucchini is that they hold up really well in the fridge. So unlike pickling cucumbers that you really want to process right away, you can put zucchini in the fridge and process them when you have time. I've actually had zucchini last in my cold room for months. Where did that other one go? There it is. These zinnia are looking so beautiful. And these ones over here are a China aster, and they are getting ready to bloom. It's gonna look beautiful when they bloom. And this is supposed to be, I think it's called a 3 roses mix. So there's multiple different colors. You can see a pink one coming on down there. And then we have some more zinnia here about to bloom. Tons of cheerful marigolds and corn dancing away in the wind in the background. Okay, I'm starting to feel better already. Let's see if we have pickling cucumbers. These are some volunteer nasturtiums. Aren't those beautiful? I did a pretty thorough picking on these. Oh, missed that big guy yesterday, so I don't expect to find too many in here today. Just a couple. Definitely starting to get some Brussels sprouts in there. So just gonna prune off these bottom leaves. What do we have over here? These are our winter cabbages, starting to head up nicely. And as I was walking through the garden over here, I saw a couple more cauliflower, and I'm pretty sure that is it for us for this year. Look at that one. It's making up for all these ones that should have been picked a few days ago. I think that one might be the record for the year. It's huge. When I was wandering around the garden the other day, I found something that I was not expecting. And I wasn't expecting it because I didn't know I planted it. And that is this gorgeous Romanesco broccoli. Isn't that absolutely stunning? This must have been one that was mislabeled at the nursery, because this row down here are mostly plants that I bought at the nursery. But I don't mind because it sure is pretty. It tastes very similar to a regular broccoli, but the flowerets are a lot more tight and crunchy. I've started doing a little bit of work on the garlic bed where we pulled out the garlic the other day. So my plan as it stands right now for next year's garden is to go back to a no-till garden. I'll just be using my little cultivator that you can see down there just to till up the first couple of inches of the soil. And I'm going to leave all the lawn that I have growing between the rows and just keep it mown down. Plan is to use an edge cutter and cut the edge of these beds, composted down, just turned my big compost pile. I'll show you when we go down to the greenhouse, but get all of these beds composted and just put them to bed one at a time as the produce comes out of the garden. The next chunks that I'm going to be working on are this area where we pulled out all the cabbages and the cauliflower from here. So I'm going to pick all of this stuff out right to the very end. This will go to the pigs and to the cows. They like munching on it too. And I have a feeling it's going to work very well. The reason that I ended up tilling my garden this spring is because I didn't do a good job putting my garden to bed last year. In fact, I didn't do anything to it at all. And it was just such a mess and I felt really overwhelmed by it. But I really love the configuration of the garden this year. I love the way the rows are. I love the way it looks. It's been super manageable. All of the pathways are wide enough to be able to fit my mower down and my wagon nicely. And I have to admit, the kids and I all commented on how many more weeds we had tilling the garden this year than we had in the previous 2 years of having a no-till garden. So I think we're gonna go back to the no-till. Don't hold me to that though, because maybe next spring I'm gonna just be like, let's just till it all and start over again. But for right now, that's where I'm at. We have kept the beds fairly well weeded. I'm needing to do some mowing with all this rain. All of the grass and the weeds and the pathways has really grown up. But for the most part, the beds are fairly well weeded as it is. Oh, we have some more zucchinis down here. This one looks like I could probably leave it, but since we're not going to be back for 3 days, it will be absolutely ginormous in 3 days. So we'll just pick it now. In that rain last night, some of the onions started to flop over. Normally you want to harvest your onions when the tops start to flop over and die off. The flopping over signals to the bulb to put the sugars into the bulb and to stop growing. So usually I'll let them flop over, leave them for a little bit, pull them up and cure them. But once we get to that point in the harvesting of them, I will walk you through it all. And I found another surprise over here, and that is Shasta daisies. I did plant some Shasta daisies, but I completely forgot where I actually put them in the garden. And I thought I had put straw flowers all the way along here, but it turns out some of them were actually daisies, which is nice because these are nice and tall and they're rising above what's in front of them, which is all of the snapdragons. The straw flowers have gone absolutely crazy. And when they first started blooming, I thought that they were for the most part all the same color. But as you can see, we have tons of different colors in here. We even have this orange one all the way along here. And I love the height of these. So I have them along the back of the herb bed here. And they just look so beautiful and cheerful. Over here, we have some gorgeous parsley. So 2 weeks ago now, I think around 2 weeks ago, we cut the parsley down right down to the ground, and you can see it has grown up again perfectly. We did the same thing with the sage back here. If we were not going away, I would actually be harvesting all this right now and putting it in the freeze dryer, but the freeze dryer takes around 24 hours to run, and we're gonna be leaving before these are going to be ready. So they are fortunately something I can leave in the garden and it won't cause them any harm. They'll just grow bigger. I do have this rosemary here that I had intended to cut off down to around here about a week ago, and I never did get around to it. So this will be something else that we'll be harvesting when we get back. The lemon balm over here has been kind of infiltrated by the peppermint. So I had peppermint growing here where I put this bed in, this raised bed here, in underneath. And it actually came up through all of this soil and came out the top. Peppermint can be incredibly invasive, as you can see. What I should have done is actually laid down some landscape fabric or something like that underneath this to choke out that peppermint, although I'm even questioning whether that would have been enough to stop it. So we are going to be harvesting all of this peppermint in here and then a bunch of this beautiful lemon balm down below. It's looking so beautiful, and man, it smells good. We have a bunch of oregano over here as well. This little thyme here was such a tiny little plant that I didn't actually harvest much off of it, and I've just let it flower. Aren't those pretty? Dainty little flowers. Our snapdragon bed over here, and these guys, these beautiful marigolds, really need to be cut back. A pair of scissors, I think. Yes, I do. In my root apron here, right here. So I think we'll just get to that right now. So some of these I am going to let turn to seed so that I can save some seed off of these. These are actually from some seed that I had saved from last year. And as you can see, the seed was good because these are ginormous. I think these are probably the biggest marigolds I have ever grown. I'm gonna watch myself. There's lots of bumblebees in here right now. Ooh, just about got stung. I keep trying to keep the snapdragons here pruned, but I have not been doing a great job of it. If you keep them well pruned, they'll flower for you all throughout the summer. And but you really do have to stay really on top of it. They are very frost hardy though, so it's possible I might get another flush before the hard frost hits. I am not quite ready for a shift into autumn yet, but I have to admit to feeling a little autumn in the air this morning when I woke up. Okay, let's head over and check on the beans and see how they are looking. I did see a whole bunch of flowers on them the last time we were out here together. These cheerful little squash are making me very happy. These are a dwarf yellow Hubbard squash, if I remember correctly. And it's quite a prolific plant. Since it's not going to be a great squash year this year, I am very happy to see those cheerful little ones. Does anyone know what this little guy is here? I think it's some sort of cucumber. I cannot remember. I bought a couple of plants from the nursery and I didn't really pay attention to what they were when I stuck them in the ground. But I have another one and they're a little bit prickly. I have a really good plant identifier on my phone that I'm sure I could plant identify that with, but I deliberately left my phone up at the house so that I could have a little bit of phone free time. So if you know, let me know. One of our little blue Hubbards. So here we go. So here is my bean patch. Oh, look at that. We actually have some beans starting on here. What's good about where these are at is I'm not going to need to start harvesting from here for probably another 4 or 5 days, which is good. So that can also wait until we get back. My calendula is looking so lovely and even starting to get some seed over here. So I'll let these dry and then harvest them. These were grown from seed that I had harvested. This is a medicinal variety of calendula. So I will be harvesting lots of these flowers for making creams and such in the wintertime. Oh my gosh, look at this one. I don't think I have ever seen a calendula flower that looks like that before. Isn't that pretty? I have a gardening confession to make. You see that very sad looking basket up there on the top of the ladder? It looked really pretty when I put it there. Remember? It was all very beautiful. So I have a problem with keeping any type of hanging basket watered. Actually, any type of plant in pots, like you can see down here, watered. My husband really likes hanging baskets, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see from over here, but we have a little cabin way up over there, and there's 2 hanging baskets hanging from the cabin. And I have 3 beautiful hanging baskets hanging from the house that Dan bought. He has been away for a couple of days, and he actually sent me a text saying, please go water my hanging baskets, because he knew that if he hadn't reminded me, they would have died. Every year I put up hanging baskets, and every year by this time of year, they are no longer thriving because I always forget to water them. I don't know why it is. I can grow big, beautiful vegetables like this, but I cannot for the life of me keep hanging baskets alive. I don't know why it is. So where shall we go to next? I have a bunch of apples in the forest garden that I need to get picked today. You know, they probably could stay on the trees until we get back. It's tempting to leave them. But blackbirds are notorious for going and pecking at apples. I was planning on taking the apples that we have and turning them into applesauce. So even I guess if they have a few pecks on them, it's probably not the end of the world, but also harvesting them now is not the end of the world either, because apples will hold up just fine sitting on the counter for a few days. Oh my, this is so cheerful. This is that happy accident. So these were all self-seeded, and I had a plan to take them out in the spring and transplant them into garden. I never did get around to that, and I must say I am really glad that I didn't, because they just are such cheerful looking sunflowers. Look at that cutie. And these ones here have made kind of an arch over this pathway. Look at that one. Hey, look at this. We have some tomatoes that are starting to turn red. Some more blushing happening there. Some more there. And there. Where I'm at with my high tunnel at this point is it actually does need another seriously good pruning. More just thinning all of the thick foliage out of here. But we're also right in the thick of harvest season right now, and I am canning so much, freeze drying so much, freezing so much, that I don't really have time to spend in the high tunnel. I kind of come down and I'll pull a few leaves off here and there. Remember, this was really well trellised and pruned the last time we were down here together, which for you guys was probably 5 days ago. For me, it was more like 7 or 8 days ago. And it's already closing back in again. But the downside of not clearing these out is it makes it really have to dig around to actually be able to see the tomatoes. And so then there's more risk that I will end up missing tomatoes as they start ripening. So I'll do the best I can. I'll just come through here, and as I have a little bit of time here and there, or just need to get outside into the garden, especially along this side, this wall of green here. These ones aren't quite as bad along this side, and they actually look pretty bad in the camera, but they are a little bit more thinned and trellised than the other side. But still, I also went along, as you can see, I topped a lot of the tomatoes here, but there's still all kinds of stuff that needs to be topped. So it's just gonna be what it's going to be, and who knows, maybe it'll be a really great harvest and maybe we'll get an extended autumn. Some of these tomatoes are just looking so gorgeous. I don't think I've given you an update on the pepper situation. They are looking a little bit better than they had been. They only really started to grow and take off probably about 2 weeks ago now at this point, but still not fantastic. Certainly not big, robust plants. This is year 2 of this kind of issue with my pepper plants. I think the only time I had a really, really great year with peppers was the first year that I planted them in the high tunnel. And that was due to the fact that I was really paranoid about the cold and I had lots of heaters running in here. But I think what I'm going to do with my peppers next year is to put a mini hoop house over top of them, and so that they have a little bit of extra protection, and then even use frost blankets at night to help keep them nice and toasty, because peppers don't like to get cold at all. And this bindweed, you see this stuff here? This is horrible stuff. It is really pretty, but it wraps itself around plants and chokes them out. I don't have a huge issue with bindweed here, but that's because I try to stay pretty on top of it. These jalapeno plants are looking good, lots of flowers on them, not much fruit yet at this point. Even though it is not super sunny or hot outside right now, it is sure toasty warm in here. What temperature is it? It is 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 30 degrees Celsius, which is perfect for tomatoes and peppers. My cows look so happy out there. They're not actually supposed to be back in that meadow because we're going to be haying that meadow. But shall we go down and say hello and check out Fern and see how she's doing? It's not often that I come down to this part of the property with you. We're either over by the barnyard, up in the garden, or up in the house. So it'll be kind of neat to see the view from this side. Oakley's down chasing something. What you got? Are you such a good boy? Hi, sweetheart. Hello. Hi, honey. Good boy. Our house is right up there. And then the garden, the greenhouse and everything here, the shop, and then the barn down over that way. What is that? Are you eating like some grubs or something? He's eating grubs. Hello, guys. The bull's very happy. I just put him back out with the cows. He's had to be penned up for the last little while because he has been breaking out and getting into the neighbor's pasture. And we obviously don't want that. So we had penned him up with our 2 steers until Honey had her calf and Thistle had her calf, because now they're open, and cows or bulls will generally not leave open cows. Open means that they are not pregnant, which means they could be, and so he'll stay close to them now at this point. This area that we're in right now is where we usually are, the view from behind us when we're up in the garden, and this is a swamp grass meadow. So this is what swamp grass looks like, and this is naturally irrigated. It is a floodplain right here, and it floods out quite a bit in the springtime, and then it's a peat bog underneath, so it maintains a lot of that moisture throughout the summer. So it's actually still pretty good out here. Hey everybody! Now the question is, where is that little calf? As you can see, my bull is not leaving Thistle alone, and that is because she is open. Hi buddy. They look very similar, don't they? They're not related. Where is your calf, little girl? Fern is still at the age where is she? Where Thistle is hiding her. So usually for around the first week or so, they'll hide their calves to keep them safe from predators, and then they just call them to come out when it's time to eat. Let's see if we can find her, because she wouldn't be far from the main herd. Oh, there she is. Hello, little Fern. Hi, sweet girl. You look so much like a little fawn. Hello. Hi. Oh my goodness, you are so beautiful. Hello. Oh, you have Jersey eyes. What a beautiful girl you are. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Does that feel nice? Oh my goodness. What a gorgeous calf. She is so beautiful. And in the middle of the field like this, surrounded by this beautiful hay, just curled up, having a rest. What a gorgeous calf. So over here, we have Mr. Patty Pants, and he and Oreo are the best of friends. They just love each other. Hi, bud. Hello. How are you? Good boy. Good boy. Hi, Milkweed. Hello, honey. Hello, love. This is Milkweed. This is Patty's mama. Isn't she beautiful? I love this brindle coloring on her. She's so gorgeous. She's a milking shorthorn Jersey cross. And this is Frederick. He is a steer. And Red over here, so he's not friendly. If I can actually get up and pet him, it will be quite amazing. Hi, what do you think? Hello. And then this beautiful girl over here, of course, is Honey. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? I could definitely just sit out here and hang out with my cows for a little bit. It's so peaceful out here. You get a really good view of the farm from down here. Can I come over and sit with you for a little while? You haven't made friends with the other kids yet? It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Oh, and you're a friendly girl too. I couldn't get this close to Oreo if I tried. Go over to your mama. She's calling you. So he will be the sire of all of our calves for next year. So we should get some gorgeous Jersey babies. Be gentle with that baby, mister. Thistle has turned into a lovely milk cow. She's actually really gentle now. I can go up and pet her. I don't want to go up and pet her while the bull's there because he's being a little silly right now. But she is going to make somebody a lovely milk cow. I would love to keep her, but because I am going to be keeping her calf, as my milk cow for a couple of years from now. And I have thistle or honey and milkweed over there that are currently in milk. Milkweed over there isn't due to calve until January, which is close to the time when I'll want to start drying off honey. And then we'll have another cow in milk. And I like to keep just one cow in milk at a time. I don't really need 2 cows worth of milk. And I certainly don't need 3 because she's such a lovely cow. I would really like to see her be able to go to another family. You know what I really should do is get these cows off of this hay field because it's not cut and I don't want all that cow poop in my hay. So I'm gonna go grab them and move them out and close the gate. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Uh-oh, little one. On the wrong side of the fence there, little one. Hang on. That's it. There you go. Good girl. Come on. They're in the right spot now. Come on, Oakley. This is my manure pile over here, which might not seem very glorious, but this is the magic sauce for my garden. My plan is with this compost is what I have been doing the last couple of years is putting it on in the spring. My plan is to put my garden to bed properly this year and get all of my beds top dressed in the fall and with a nice thick coating of that manure. And then it will finish, it's not totally finished, decomposing right now, and it will finish decomposing over the winter and into the spring and be perfect for planting in when it's time to plant. You know, I do think I'm going to go pick all those apples. I'm not quite ready to go back inside yet. I have some catnip here behind me that is literally swarming with bumblebees right now. I don't know if you can hear them. This is the only one of my apple trees that really produced a lot of fruit this year. Most of my apple trees did amazing last year and didn't produce hardly any this year. And apparently that is fairly common with apple trees for them to be biennial producers. And I didn't know that actually before this year. And one of the ways that you can encourage them to produce every year is by thinning out your apples fairly aggressively each year. You obviously get fewer apples, but it sends a message to the tree to flower heavily the following year. I think that is just about it. This apple tree was so productive last year, and I think I only have maybe 2 apples on it this year. 1, 2, and 3. These ones here are Norland apples, and they won't be ready for another 3 weeks or so. Well, that's not too shabby of a harvest. I'm happy with that, especially with that beauty. It's really going to be a jungle out here when I get back. I'm gonna have to do some serious mowing. I'd like to mow before we leave, but I have a ton to do to get prepared for actually going. So that is going to have to wait until I get back. I didn't end up doing anything with all of that produce that we picked in the garden. That was actually a couple of days ago. We're back from our camping trip now, and I wanted to show you what we got on our way home. We got a whole bunch of peaches, some Roma tomatoes, some peppers, and we are going to be preserving that all this week. We're going to get started on it today, and I will be sharing that with you in Wednesday's video. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.